Welcome back to Sportsbook Review. Right now, we're joined with top analyst Jordan Sharp, which means NBA season is finally upon us. We're going to preview the Eastern Conference futures right now with him. Welcome back, Jordan.
Hey, Meg. How you doing?
All right, man, let's get it started. Jordan, it's going to be a great season ahead of us. The summer was full of awesome MLB football action, but I think you and I both know that it's finally time. We're ready to talk about some NBA here, and I don't mean Summer League. So let's get it cracking here on the Eastern Conference. Number one team in the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers. Can you see them making a big statement this month?
In the first month of the season, probably not. LeBron's a little banged up right now. I think he'll play in the opener, but they lost Iman Shumpert for the start a little bit at beginning of the season. They just got Tristan Thompson back into training camp 5 days before the season started. So I think they might be a slow starter, but obviously I think they'll put the pedal to the metal. And they are the class of the Eastern Conference, obviously. And there may be a team or two that could give them a run for their money. It's very, very hard to bet against them here at minus 200 though to win the East. I like Chicago, obviously, if they can get their stuff together. The Miami could be a dark horse team, depending on Toronto maybe, but I mean it's really hard for me to recommend and definitely not going to bet against the Cavaliers, at least at this point here just before the season starts.
All right, yeah, let's talk about big threats to the Cavaliers this season. I can't believe I'm about to bring this up, your Chicago Bulls, Jordan, because I know we aren't going to be able to get you to shut up once you start, but there has been a lot of talk about Chicago making it very far this season. They're second in the rankings right now to win the conference this season on the futures board. But who is your top pick to threaten the Cavaliers for the title?
It's got to be Chicago. They're a class above the rest of the field outside of Cleveland, and even though I like Miami and Toronto this year, I still think they're a play or two away. And I think Miami potentially with the injury risk just makes them a little bit too hard. Even though I'm still really high on them. But Chicago at this point, with the upside that Fred Hoiberg brings on offense, I think they're going to figure out their rotations, which is where they struggled last year. I mean, I keep bringing it up, but they were up 2-1 on the Cavs after Pau Gasol got hurt from Tom Thibodeau running him into the ground all season. That's not going to happen this year. They have some depth. Doug McDermott has looked like a revelation here in the preseason. I know it's just preseason, but he looks like he's going to fill in nicely while Mike Dunleavy's hurt. It all comes back to health, obviously, but I mean, if they're healthy and they're playing defense at least close to the level that they have been over the last couple of years, with the exception of last year, and their offensive efficiency goes up, to the 105 to 110 range, you're looking at a team that could not only hang with the Cavs, but beat the Cavs and even get the number one seed again. We've seen them with a lesser roster beat LeBron James-led teams with potentially just as much, if not more talent than the current Cavaliers right now. So, and that was with Tom Thibodeau and a shorter rotation. I mean, this team's 10 deep. It's the Bulls. I don't know if I'm ready to proclaim them as a team that I'm going to pick to upset the Cleveland Cavaliers, but there's potential there more so than any other team right now.
You're right. It all boils down to injuries, Jordan. I mean, I think pretty much everyone on their roster took an injury last season, but they just won't die, will they? All right, so speaking of the Bulls and the Cavs here, Jordan, they go head-to-head in Chicago opening night. LeBron choked hard last season in opening night. Could the Bulls take the win here?
I mean, if LeBron doesn't play, yeah, but I think there's no way that's going to happen. So, and then it all comes down to whether Derrick Rose is going to play. He might be just coming back to be able to take contact now after breaking that orbital bone first day of training camp. So, a lot depends on the health of the two superstars for this one. And I have no idea where to go with this one with the information that we currently have. I think we'll find out more as we get about 48 hours maybe towards game time on Tuesday. But right now, I think it's Cleveland. But Kyrie Irving doesn't look like he'll play, so it looks like it's a matter of whether or not Derrick Rose plays. And if that's the case, then the Bulls might not be a bad play if they're 5-6 point underdogs in this one, because I think that's around where they were when they opened. So not a bad value potentially where you're getting the number, but obviously we don't have the number just yet, so we got to wait and see for that one.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the Bulls, the Cavs. Who else do you see being a threat here in the Eastern Conference, or is everyone else pretty much shut out?
If Miami can hit on all their upside and just absolutely outperform at every position, they have a pretty good chance. It really all comes down to how they manage the minutes of Dwayne Wade, I think, and keeping him fresh for the playoff run. But Other than them, I think the Raptors have potential as well. They have some rotation issues that I need to see, I think, before I really look at them. But the addition of DeMarre Carroll, your boy, DeMarre Carroll, I think they're going to be a dangerous basketball team because I don't know if you've seen a picture of Kyle Lowry this offseason, but the guy looks like he's spent about 8 hours a day in the gym all summer. I mean, he looks like he's dropped at least 15 pounds. He's thinner. He's quicker. He's back to that elusive Kyle Lowry that can back you up on the post and take you off the dribble. I mean, if he's playing at an all-star and above level, DeMarre Carroll's giving you what DeMarre Carroll does, and DeMar DeRozan's still DeMar DeRozan. If they can get anything from those bigs, I really like that backcourt for this team. So the Raptors, I think, could be also another undervalued team you could see earlier on in the season. I know we're probably going to talk about that, but I'll lead right into that because I think the Toronto Raptors are not only a potential, big-time underdog potential, but also a team that could make a lot of money for NBA bettors early on in the season.
Come on, man. What about my Hawks? I haven't heard their name once.
I'm concerned. I have concerns about the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks, as we just talked about, lost DeMarre Carroll, and without him, I think that was the glue that held this team together. They have absolutely, count them, 0 capable wing defenders. And when you play in a conference with LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, those guys, you need somebody to throw at them all game and just kind of follow them around and shadow them. And the Hawks do not have that guy. Don't mention Thabo Sefolosha to me, which I've heard is that guy that's going to fill that role. That's not happening. And I'm a little bit concerned, I think, with now that he's gone, that's going to put a lot more offensive pressure on Paul Millsap and Jeff Teague. And I don't know if they can handle that load. I just don't know if the Hawks have enough scoring. And I don't know if they're going to have that perimeter defense that's going to get them to the level that they were last season. It remains to be seen. They could surprise me. I do like their team. I think they have some depth. I think they made some nice undervalued signings here in the and moves in the offseason. But I think they're due for a regression this year. That's for sure. Their over-under for win totals is 49, if that tells you anything.
All right, very quickly here, Jordan. The top overvalued team and the top undervalued team in the Eastern Conference.
The Washington Wizards, I think, could be really overvalued. There was a stretch last year, I think it was like 31 games, where they went 7-24 against the spread. I mean, they were just an automatic fade. And I think you're looking at a team that lost their veteran leader in Paul Pierce, another guy that's kind of a glue guy, so to speak. You're looking at a team that's not very mobile. John Wall and Bradley Beal are great, and Otto Porter, I think, is going to slide in nicely to that 3 spot, but I think their big man rotation is going to be not great. They're probably going to start Chris Humphries. I'm just not a big fan of their upside this season. I think you're looking at a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, obviously, as a team that could be undervalued in the East, but my sleeper kind of undervalued pick that could really, really outperform expectations to be a great bet ATS is the Orlando Magic. I think that this team now with Scott Skiles as the head coach, you're looking at another year of development for Elfrid Payton and Victor Oladipo. They've got a lot of upside as well. They got back Tobias Harris. He's just another depth guy that could give you 15 points per game. Nikola Vucevic is an all-star at the center position. The Orlando Magic, young, dangerous, and a lot of defensive upside. They could hold some teams down, be a really good play on the unders to start the season if they're playing against a team that's known for offense a little bit more. Could definitely be a team that could cover some underdog values as well on the road or at home. The Orlando Magic, do not sleep on them to start the season ATS.
Great stuff from NBA analyst Jordan Sharp. Thanks for being back with us and for the great insight. We're looking forward to a great season.